Welcome to another edition of the Postgame Wrap. I'm Jared Johnson, and 52-15, Texas Tech blasted West Virginia in the regular season finale. The victory moved the Red Raiders to 8-4 overall in the regular season, 6-3 in the Big 12. And it's several, not first time, but several accomplishments on the season that Texas Tech hadn't done in years. For example, the 8 regular season wins. Red Raiders hadn't done that since 2009. And they had already locked up after last week, after the victory over Oklahoma State and Stillwater, a winning record in the Big 12. This is the first time Texas Tech has had 3 consecutive winning seasons in the Big 12 ever. Now, they did have 3 consecutive winning conference records, in which 2 of those years were in the Big 12. One of them, of those 3 consecutive winning conference seasons, was in the old Southwest Conference. So, but we're talking about going back years and decades and all that stuff since Texas Tech has done these kinds of things. Of course, they are bowl eligible. I do not know what bowl they're going to be in yet. There's several things that are going to unfold over the next month and months, to be honest, weeks to months, where we'll find out more about the future of Texas Tech. That includes the bowl game next week. You have the high school signing period and early period, which has become the national signing day, pretty much. And McGuire said they plan on getting 16 high school signees. Transfer portal opens up. Was it December 9th, I think? I think there's a lot of dates to remember, but around that time period. And Texas Tech plans on taking 10 guys from the portal, so that will change. And then they got to get down in April to 105 and make sure they get to that roster limit. And then we'll have to see, are there any coaching changes? What bowl game does Texas Tech go to? Because I would not be surprised if there was coaching changes, not because I think they did so bad or what people are always saying, fire him, fire that, but just because that happens. And then also, though, I do have to say, I asked, and this isn't to say that there's going to be changes at coordinator, but I asked Coach Joey McGuire after the game how he thought the coordinators did, and obviously he had a lot of praise for Zach Kittley. I mean, they put up over 50 points the last 2 weeks. I believe they've been a top 20 national offense in terms of yards produced. There are other stats where I think you can make other arguments, but in my humble opinion, I think the offense has been pretty good. It's been one of the more balanced, one of the best offenses in the Big 12, and that's why Texas Tech does have the winning overall record, the winning really good 6-3 is really good conference record, despite having a defense which, when you look at statistically, has not been very good, and they don't pass the eye test either. Now, you've had some games here or there. I thought the Arizona State game, Tech's defense played really well. I thought today against West Virginia, I mean, West Virginia had 3 points at halftime. They were down 35-3 at halftime. West Virginia was, and Texas Tech had already had over 400 yards of total offense and all those points. And West Virginia, though they did have the field goal, they still had not even made it into the red zone by halftime. So West Virginia's final stat line is going to be misleading in the fact that they had 405 yards total offense. I thought Texas Tech did a great job of stopping the running game. And to me, that was the key. I said it on the radio, I said it on this channel, I said it on Inside the Red Raiders, social media, anywhere anybody listen to me, that the key was just going to be like Arizona State, where if you could run the ball and you could stop the run, you'd probably get out of the regular season finale and senior day with the big victory, that 8th victory. And that's what happened. It wasn't just that. Tech did whatever they wanted to on offense. They scored on something like their first 6 or 7 possessions. They had a couple field goals early. One I thought should have been a touchdown to Mason Tharp. He made an unbelievable one-hand stab catch and toe tap. I thought that was a touchdown. I guess the refs didn't see it that way, nor the replay officials. I don't really get it. I thought it was a touchdown, but I had to settle for a field goal there. But then Tech would go on to just get touchdown after touchdown and build a big, unsurmountable lead, and really just put this game. They put the game away by halftime. Doubled down early in the second half, and then got to play a lot of their young guys. So Taj Brooks, I mentioned being able to run the ball. 188 yards and 3 touchdowns on the day. He also uh, had 2 catches for 35 yards. He may be the only running back to ever run for 1,500 yards in back-to-back seasons. I think this is the for Texas Tech, and I know Tech's sports information director told us this was the first time Tech's had a 1,000-yard receiver and a 1,500-yard rusher in the same season, which was kind of surprising to be honest. But with Taj Brooks and Josh Kelly, so Taj got to. I didn't want him to get hurt. I thought they were running too much, but I didn't know they were trying to get him to 1,500 yards. And he said he wanted. They asked him. He said he wanted to, and so he did it. And he did it with a really nice. It was like a nice run. It was 15 or 20 yards, something like that. And then he got a standing ovation from the crowd there at Texas Tech, and I thought that at the Jones, and I thought that was great. Man, Jacoby Williams looked good. He only had 5 carries, but 20 yards. I thought he did some nice. He also had 2 catches for 30 yards, so it was nice to see the young guy get in on the action. Coy Aiken had a good game. Really, everybody for Texas Tech had a good game. I mean, that's just the way it looked and the way it played out in that 52-15 victory. Michael Dingle, that was really nice to see. He finished with a game-high 9 tackles. Baskerville had that interception in 8 tackles. He looked really. John Curry, the redshirt freshman inside linebacker. So you're seeing some of the future an inside linebacker there. Him and Dingle, and of course, you have Ben Roberts. But John Curry had 7 tackles, an interception, and a half a sack. J-Rod, he didn't have a ton of tackles, like a big stat day, but he made some big plays. He got in on 1 sack, almost had another. He was definitely making an impact. And just, again, Terrell Tillman had a couple of sacks. And that's one thing. Tech had a 7 tackle for loss and 4 sacks. So they got after, West Virginia. They got after West Virginia's quarterback. They got after those 2 running backs who have been really good all year, and a pretty good offensive line for West Virginia. Tech's defense won the battle of the line of scrimmage, really both lines of scrimmage. And, after Tech got whipped by Baylor, I asked Coach McGuire in the postgame presser, I said, look, y'all got out physical today. What's your reason? Why did that happen? And, he, to McGuire's credit, he answered like a man, and trust me, not all coaches do that. They get all offended, even though when you're speaking truth and reality. He obviously was not happy about his team being out physical, but he agreed and he explained what he thought happened and his frustrations with it. So I try and be fair, especially with people who act like that, and are upstanding, act like a man. When you ask them tough questions, you got to be fair with them too. So I asked him, I said, look, I pointed out, asking about the physicality after the Baylor game and that they had totally flipped it. Even Mighty Joe in the press box almost by halftime said, look, Tech's just pushed them around, out physical in West Virginia. That was the truth. And I think that was really the key to the game. I thought it was going to be the key to the game. It was the key to the game. It's clear Texas Tech wanted to be out there more. They wanted the victory. It mattered more to them. And they went out and took it. And so we'll have to see what bowl game they're in. All these changes that are probably going to happen very soon. I know there's been a lot of speculation about, for one, like Micah Hudson, I've asked a million times. He missed again. I am told he is very much on board and that, he's dealing with a stress fracture. And so, there's only so much you can do about that. So, he's dealing with an injury. It is what it is. And but that he's still on board. Now, look, if he ends up in the portal, you can get mad at me if you want. It's a pretty dang good source on what I'm saying. And things change, especially with the transfer portal recruiting. But that is the truth in terms of Hudson's situation as far as I know it now. But I'm going to have the live chat coming up. Joe's going to have Jaeger shots. We're going to have more content. Got signing day coming up. But just all in all, what a great performance by Texas Tech. Great way to end the season. They ended the season winning 3 of their final 4 games. Go right back to Jovember, as people are calling it around Lubbock now. The Texas Tech has been very good in the month of November and December. Honestly, I think it's up to 10-3 in November and December, 8-3 in November, Texas Tech has been under Joey McGuire. So I think that's very impressive. But that's the end of the regular season. They wrapped it. We'll see what happens with the bowl game and all that stuff I laid out before. But for now, I want to thank you for watching. And until next time.